It's the first episode of the Run the Tape with Gunny and Mike. This is exciting. It's actually the second episode. We actually did this last week, right? But it took place of the Hangar Hangout because I was gone. Anyway, it was received very well by you, the fanatics. So we decided to go ahead and make it a running bit. Now we're going to be doing the Run the Tape episodes weekly with myself and Mike. Wednesday nights between 7:30 8 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get locked down on a particular time frame. But without further ado, man, we're going to go ahead and run the tape, talk about the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos. It was ugly. It wasn't pretty. At the end of the day, we caught the L. Hopefully it's a wake-up call for these guys. But yeah, let's talk about the tape.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go.
Mike, it's official. The first official episode of Run the Tape. I know you're in beautiful. Is it Panama? I keep saying Panama, but I know it's not Panama. Where are you at right now?
It's the Philippines.
The Philippines, man, living the dream.
Yeah.
They don't mind him,
living
man.
the
He's
dream.
got the beautiful sunlight, the ocean behind him, and everything like that. He just wanted to make sure we got to capture some of the paradise he's currently living in, man. Appreciate you for making time for us, bro. I appreciate you for making time for us. I know you're baking over there in the sun. What time is it over there?
So it's a 12-hour difference right now. So it's 9:02 a.m. for me.
A.M.
For Eastern Standard Time, it's 12-hour difference.
Forward or behind?
Forward. So right now it is Thursday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's October 3rd, Thursday morning, 9:03 a.m. Yeah.
Very well. Hey, man, listen, I appreciate it, man. You and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. We did the hangout in lieu of this last week. It was well received. A lot of individuals seem to really enjoy it. So we're running it back, man. We're gonna run the tape. And I guess the next tape up is Broncos versus Jets. That just happened. Jets played the Broncos at home this past Sunday. I think the only way to describe it is it was embarrassing. I don't think there's a lot of happy stuff we're going to be seeing on the tape. We've kind of talked about it. The agitation is very much real. But it is what it is. We're going to run the tape. We're going to go ahead and briefly break down, some saying, some good, some bad. Can it be fixed? Can it not? We got the Minnesota Vikings up next. Yeah, man. Let's do the damn thing, man. Let's go ahead and run the tape. Talk about the ugly. Hopefully there's enough good to bypass some of the ugly. But take it away, Big Mike. Do your thing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gunny. Yeah. So real quick, just to go, kind of what you just talked about. Even though I am in paradise, kind of being in the Philippines and all, I pretty much was in hell this past Sunday watching this Jets team, man. And again, going over this tape, this is going to be one of those days where there isn't too much to be able to show here, only because it was just so ugly offensively here for us. Meanwhile, we have an Aaron Rodgers-led offense that really ideally should be able to fire on all cylinders most of the time. But yeah, we're going to get into it here. And we're going to start off with the defense because although we did allow 10 points this game and we ultimately lost, allowing 10 points in a game really isn't that much, right? Like we should have been able to do enough offensively to get this dub. But there are just a few plays here that kind of, piqued my interest in terms of the defense that we can quickly go over. And the first one being this play here. What I want you to take a look at is DJ Reed on the bottom of your screen. And just watch him as he follows Courtland Sutton here. So he's one-on-one with Courtland Sutton. Really, it should be Sauce Gardner on Courtland Sutton, and we're going to go over that in a couple more or a few more plays. But he does a pretty decent job. Let's go back here. He does a pretty decent job against Courtland Sutton. However, I think that he's going to need some help up over the top. If you take a look here at Tony Adams, Adams is favoring this side of the field. Meanwhile, he should be over helping out Reed a little bit just in case, Cortland Sutton runs that deep route there. Because we have Sauce here covering his man. We all know what Sauce can do. But it seems like, why do we have Tony Adams here assisting Sauce when he really should be helping Reed out? So even though it was an incompletion, Reed did a pretty good job. This could have gotten ugly really, really quickly. And it seems like every single week, DJ Reed is just a step or two behind those deep route receivers. And, going forward, I want to see Sauce on the number one receiver, and I want to see on those deep passes, I want to be able to see the safety come up and help Reed.
Yeah, I think you and I we talked a lot about it during like towards the end of last year in training camp. It just seemed like he was getting cooked a lot in double moves. It seems like those double moves were creating a lot of separation to where a lot of guys were getting open behind him on the regular. And I don't know, man. I was concerned about it. You were concerned about it. I feel like he kind of held his own a little bit, against Cortland Sutton this past weekend, but against a better receiver, man, I think that is concerning. Why the heck? I don't understand why the heck Sauce Gardner is getting the help and not DJ Reed. That makes no sense to me. Zero sense to me.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things that really needs to change, and it's like, I don't want to talk too bad on Robert Saleh because he's done him and Ulbrich have done a tremendous job defensively over the last few years, but these are one of these things where you can turn your great defense into the top 1 or 2 defense in the league.
Yeah.
Is the top 3 to 5, right? So again, we need to be able to make those slight changes to make ourselves better, because we really can be a better defense if we just made those minor adjustments. And we're going to talk about it in a few more plays as well with the whole Sauce Gardner thing. But DJ Reed did do really well this game, like you talked about, Gunny. He's actually one of the highest graded PFF ranked cornerbacks in the NFL right now. So he is doing really well. In fact, on this next play here, I kind of want to highlight DJ Reed. And he's going to be up on the top of your screen here. And just take a look at what this dude does. I'm sorry, he's right here. Sorry, top of your screen right here. He's able to get around his off the block of the wide receiver, and he's able to make that play. Defensively, this team was able to get a lot of things done this past Sunday, and DJ Reed was one of those guys who was able to make that play, get off that block, and make a great tackle there.
Yeah, I'll say this. There was some concerns about his injury, that ankle, and that he seemed pretty spry to me there. Didn't seem like he was limited at all. Being able to go ahead and shed the receiver in that block and be able to get into the backfield, and then of course doing the gorilla runaway like that to me shows that he's feeling pretty good. Again, right now we need this team firing on all cylinders. Again, we're looking at this tape, and we all know the outcome of the game, man. It was ugly. It was hideous. Very, very defensive oriented game, 10-9. Our defense, I feel like, has gotten better each week. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to need to see them bump them numbers up in terms of turnovers. I want to see Sauce Gardner travel, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself, man. But yeah, overall, DJ Reed I thought looked pretty good this past week. I guess if you're talking about bright spots, right? I think the defense did give us a lot to be excited about as you're seeing these guys get into their groove as we're getting along here into the second part of the season with week 5.
Absolutely, yeah. And going off of DJ Reed, I also want to give a shout out to Chaz Surratt and Jamie Sherwood and Quincy Williams this game as well. Like our linebackers are just playing lights out, man. I know CJ Mosley went down and everything. Of course, team captain, one of the best linebackers in the NFL over recent memory. But man, these young dudes are stepping up in his place to be able to make these plays, and be able to make things happen. So what I want you to take a look at here, Gunny, is Chaz Surratt. I believe he's right here. Just take a look at what this dude does, man. He's able to read where the ball is going. He's able to penetrate that gap, and he's able to make that play. So we'll take another peek here. This is a better angle. But here he is, number 55. He sees that hole, he just attacks.
Attacks it.
And the biggest thing here is that, versus the 49ers, we weren't doing those types of things. So it almost seems like the linebackers were kind of being told to like be patient for whatever reason, and not be aggressive in those defensive running lanes. But it seems like we're starting to fix those things, and in fact we have fixed those things against the run primarily. So I'm really excited for these young bucks, man, with Chaz Surratt and Jamie Sherwood being able to fill in for Mosley.
Yeah, and again, I got to go ahead and give compliments to the coaching staff when it comes to this aspect, right? We've seen them do some incredible things with the defense. I don't think anybody's going to argue that defensively speaking, we feel confident in the coaching of this team. It's one reason why I think, you and I specifically weren't really stressing out or freaking out about the Hassan Reddick situation. We knew if there was anything we could trust in when it came to this coaching staff, it was going to be their ability to coach this defense up and keep them playing at a high level. Week one, it looked rough. It did. It looked really rough. We were starting to question whether or not we were right about them. But you've seen them again each week get better. And with this linebacker group, it's telling, right? Because again, these are guys that have been pretty much sitting back and learning for a couple of years now. And Sherwood, Surratt hasn't been able to really stay healthy. So like seeing him go ahead and stay healthy, and you're seeing the IQ, the fact that he is very explosive. You're starting to see a lot of the reasons why Saleh liked these guys and has kept them on the roster for as long as he has. I'll say this, man, and again, I'm probably going to catch some shade for it. I feel like our linebacking group started to really gel and operate at another level of speed and efficiency and just attacking the freaking the ball carrier after CJ went down, man. And again, it's no knock to CJ. The guy is a GOAT. Love him. I think his leadership, presence, his IQ is next level. But, I mean, he's getting up there. He's in that stage right now in his career where he's lost a step. The linebacker room, the defense overall just looks faster. And I think a lot of it has to do, like you said, with those guys being able to go ahead and make quick decisions and then actually react. So they've got the whole mindset of a CJ Mosley who they've got to train with in that same linebacker room. But now they're able to go ahead and incorporate that intellect with quick twitchy muscles and quickness and speed and react. Whereas CJ, he has the IQ, but he doesn't have that speed anymore, man. And I think as it processes in his brain for him to react, that step's a little bit slow. And again, I took a lot of shit for this for saying that a couple weeks ago, but we've seen it in back-to-back weeks now where the linebackers have really stepped up. They look like the best unit out of the defense, and I'm incorporating defensive line and secondary. The linebacking group has played really, really well. I'm in no hurry to get CJ back, man. I love what he brings to the table as a leader in regards to motivating these guys, keeping them focused. The way these guys are playing right now, I don't think you want to mess with something that's been working as well as it has the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. These are some exciting times with these linebackers being able to step up, man, for sure. So this next play, Gunny, this is kind of where it kind of sealed the deal for us defensively, where it's like, this game is over, right? This is the touchdown here from Bo Nix, his first actual passing touchdown in the NFL as a rookie in Week 4. And man, it just could not have come at a worse time. And again, it sealed the deal for us not being able to win the game defensively. So we're going to take a look here on the bottom of your screen. We're going to see take a look at this area right here for now, and you're going to see Cortland Sutton just be able to, do that crossing route there and be able to get open. And this is where this cover 2 zone defense is kind of like a detriment to what we want to accomplish, right? Because a lot of times it's leaving players, wide open to be able to do damage against us. And the one thing is you definitely don't want Cortland Sutton, who is the only threat as a receiver on that team, on that Broncos offense, that you want to try and stop. So I don't know why Sauce Gardner isn't there stopping him, or at least, being in the red zone, you should have him against their number one receiver. And for that not to happen is just outrageous to me.
I think for me, that's another question, right? And again, I'm starting to wonder, because we do trust this coaching staff as well as we do. There must be a fear aspect of why they won't let freaking Sauce Gardner travel. I don't understand how the best in the league travel when need be. Patrick Surtain does it constantly, right? They're able to go ahead and just, you know what? If you get beat, you get beat. If you don't, you don't, because you got an elite cornerback, true shutdown corner. We've been talking about how great Sauce is, and I believe he's literally cornerback 1 or 2 after Patrick Surtain or before Patrick Surtain. You can go ahead and flip him for all I care. It's between those two in terms of the conversation. But Sauce doesn't travel. He doesn't. And I think in a situation like this, if Sauce Gardner is as good as we all believe he is, if Sauce Gardner is that 2-time All-Pro that we've seen him be over the last couple of years, what are we doing? Why isn't he eliminating the best potential option for the other team so the defense can focus on eliminating everybody else? If somehow, you know, he gets beat by Sutton and it's one-on-one, everybody else is shut down, and then he gets a catch, so be it. We saw it against freaking in the Tennessee game, right, where the catch from Calvin Ridley. Was it Calvin Ridley? I think it was Calvin Ridley, the touchdown catch that was caught on Sauce. Listen, that was elite coverage. It was somehow a better throw and a better catch. And I'm not going to lie to you, I think luck had a lot to do with it, because nobody knew where the ball was, to include the quarterback, the referees, us, until you saw Calvin really freaking somehow, some way got it, and it's in the end zone. I think we need to start we need to go ahead and start utilizing Sauce Gardner in the fashion of being that true number one corner. If he's shut down, if he's that elite, you put him on the best player. If the best player catches a ball on Sauce, so be it. But I believe he's good enough to where it's going to be far and few in between. Not to mention, you might be able to go ahead and turn some of those targets into turnovers, because he'll probably get more looks his way. I think he should be traveling. And I think had they just incorporated this game, that touchdown never freaking happens.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And going back to the Calvin Ridley touchdown there, Sauce Gardner actually kind of let up a little bit. Going back on, looking at the tape, he did hold up a little bit and kind of stop to allow Chuck Clark to make that play and get that interception. But for some reason, Chuck Clark was just like a half a step too late to be able to get that ball. But looking at this tape here, Gunny, it looks like Sauce Gardner is in man coverage against his guy. So take a look at him on the top of the screen there. Everyone else seems to be in zone, but Sauce Gardner is in man coverage, and he's crossing the field. So again,
who is he guarding?
I want to, yeah, exactly. I want to say, I can't tell if that's Greg Dulcich, or I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a tight end. It looks like a tight end.
It looks like a tight end. Yeah, he's bigger.
Yeah, I think it might be Greg Dulcich there. But again, yeah. So Sauce is in man coverage, it looks like, and it seems like either that was just a miscommunication where DJ Reed should have been covering Sutton there in man coverage, or everyone else was in zone while Sauce was in man for some reason. But again, like, this is just one of those things, man, where it's like, this should not be happening. Like you said, we should be having our best cornerback shadowing the opposing team's best receiver,
100%. I think it's going to continuously be frustrating because of the fact that we understand how stubborn this coaching staff is. And if I don't know, man, if we're not able to go ahead and, like you just said, eliminate the other team's best receiving option, which makes the rest of the defense's job, in my opinion, that much easier. You saw this happen with the Rex Ryan era. We had Darrelle Revis. Right. You eliminate who their number one is. Everybody else falls into coverage, so we can go ahead and maximize the ability to go ahead and blitz. It's insane to me, man, that we haven't done that more, right? That game specifically, where the wide receivers don't match up well against our freaking corners. They just don't. In all actuality, there wasn't a single matchup in that freaking game where the Broncos had the advantage except for one, and it was in coaching. That was the only advantage that the Broncos had, coaching, and that was enough to beat us at home in our own house, because we're not utilizing our players in a capacity in which they can potentially benefit the team to their max potential. Sauce or Reed can match up against any wide receiver those guys had. Sauce or Reed. And we're playing around, we're doing zone and stuff like that. Man, I don't know. I think if we had almost any other coach right now in the NFL on Sunday, we win that game. And it sounds messed up to say it, and I've been a huge solid truther, bro. I have been, but seeing that game on Sunday, so many aspects where we were texting back and forth about how stupid it was. I digress. We're going to trust the tape. We're going to talk about the tape. I just had to get that off my chest for a second. But all right, next queued up play.
All right, so we're actually done with the defense. We're going to get into the offense here. A lot of things that obviously didn't go our way. Again, we only scored 9 points on Sunday, so this is not going to be the sexiest and the prettiest film here when it comes to the offensive gameplay. And again, this very first play is going to be kind of setting the tone for kind of how the rest of the game played out. And it's going to be an Aaron Rodgers sack here. So take a look at right here, and you're going to see a man get free, defender get free, and just be able to run in on Aaron Rodgers. Now, could Aaron Rodgers, use his legs a little bit, or maybe throw a check down there to Ruckert? Yeah, but at the same time, we got to be able to defend him a little bit better, throughout this game, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Look, Aaron Rodgers got beat up this game, and this is what's so frustrating to me about it. It seems as if we beat the Patriots, everybody went home, nobody talked, nobody game planned, nobody did anything. They came back on Saturday to go ahead and chill at the freaking facilities, play the game on Sunday, and it looked like this because our offensive line up to this point has been a top-notch unit in the NFL. They've been top-notch. Even against the 49ers, they graded out pretty well. In this game, man, they looked lost, completely lost, confused. And this has happened against guys like Elijah Vera Tucker, guys like freaking Tyron Smith, who was against. These are guys who are Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber talents. They just looked unprepared. Now, I'll give credit to Denver. I do believe that when they came in there, their defense was legit. We talked about it. There's some concerns there and about their ability to create pressure and get to the quarterback. I just feel like we watched the tape. We saw what they were capable of. I don't think the Jets did. I don't think the Jets prepared for this team at all. And it showed because the offensive line had no answers the entire freaking day. Aaron Rodgers was running for his life. And at 40 years old, man, I don't need my 40-year-old running back or quarterback running for his life. We need him to make it through the season. And I'm not gonna lie, I think we should be fortunate that he was able to pick himself up at the end of that game and walk off the field. Because it was bad.
Yeah, Gunny, I agree 100%. And actually, going further with that statement that you made about it, it seemed like we weren't prepared. I don't know what it is with this coaching staff. It seems like no matter who is under center or what kind of skill players we have, it seems like once the initial game plan gets shut down, it's like we have no answers at all. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is because weather forecast was that it wasn't supposed to rain too much that day. It was supposed to clear up by the time the game started. And it seems like Saleh and the coaching staff had this huge excuse why we couldn't get stuff done on Sunday because of the rain. If it's raining that much, why are we throwing the ball 44 times? Why are we not using Braylon Allen, who ideally his strength is playing in the rain? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm from upstate New York, where I live near Saratoga Racetrack. The Saratoga Racetrack, and there are a lot of different types of horses, right? So there are racehorses that run better in the rain, and there are horses that don't run well in the rain. And the same concept is true when it comes to NFL running backs. Breece Hall, as good as he is not the type of running back that you want to be featured when it's raining a lot, because he does a lot of dancing around in the backfield. He does a lot of finessing with his skill set, which is fine. But in the rain, that's not what you want to do. Running up the middle with him is not ideally what you want to do. And it seemed like that's what we did. And Saleh is even going ahead in the media. I think it was yesterday or today, like pretty much doubling down. Like, Breece is going to be our workhorse, and we're not changing anything. It's just ridiculous, man. If you're a good football coach, you tailor your players around. Or I'm sorry, you tailor your scheme around your players. You don't tailor your players around your scheme. So again, it seems like once we aren't able to do what we want to do initially, it's almost like this coaching staff just like gives up and looks on to the next game.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, man. It does look as if they were like, ah, man, darn it, we tried our best, it didn't work. All right, maybe we pulled this out, maybe we don't. Let's focus on the adjustments. Just don't come. The adjustments just don't come. Now,
Mhm.
we've seen them make adjustments defensively, but it's always been like at the half, never in game adjustments, never like, oh, first quarter we're getting our ass beat. Let's make some adjustments right now to go. No, they wait for a whole half of football to get through, getting our teeth kicked in. Go into the halftime, they're like, you know what, guys, we should have probably tried doing this different. Let's try doing this. And then they come out and they look like they're better prepared. Why aren't we doing these things like in game is what I don't understand. Like, this coaching staff has been around long enough to understand that we're going to talk shit about you. Like, we know that you're trash on so many levels, and this is going to happen. Just content creators are going to get out here. The media is going to get out here. Fans are going to get on social media, and we're going to go ahead and roast you because common sense, apparently, with these guys, is not so common. I'm so the biggest concern I have, man, for this team. People say, "Oh, staying healthy." No, it's the offensive. It's the coaching. It's the coaching, predominantly on the offensive side of the football. But overall, man, I just head coach and offensive coordinator, man, are the biggest bottlenecks we have on this team, and we're gonna need all the help we can get to potentially eliminate or make this roster as coach proof as possible. Aaron Rodgers might need to go ahead and just start telling Hackett to shut the hell up, and he's got it. I got it, man. Just shut up. I got it. Let me go ahead and get you another job somewhere by taking this team all the way. So I don't know, man. This is where the tape gets like really bad.
100%.
So
yeah.
frustrated.
The thing is that Aaron Rodgers can check out of any play, and we're going to get into it in a few more plays here, or toward the end of the tape. But it's like, if you don't have the correct personnel on the field, there's not too much that Rodgers can really do. You know what I mean? But I'll go into more detail on the end of the video there, Gunny. But in this next play, it seems like this is going to be the Garrett Wilson fumble. He's going to be on the top of the screen there, and it seems like every single week, the first or second drive, we're like fumbling the football. I don't know what it is, man, but I'm pretty sure this is like the third out of 4 games, I believe, that we've had a fumble in like the first or second drive.
Yep.
Garrett's got to do a better job there, man. I know he's trying to make a play. And again, like this is something that throughout his young career, he has done so far. He doesn't have the biggest frame. Again, he's only about 180 pounds or so.
Yeah.
So he's not the biggest guy, but he's got to be able to protect that football, man, especially in this weather.
Yeah. Something's wrong with with G5, man, and I don't know if he's frustrated with himself, or maybe he's put so much pressure on himself to kind of like elevate himself to the Aaron Rodgers standard. You're seeing the Allen Lazard connection seem seamless. Now Mike Williams is coming out there, and him and Aaron Rodgers are on the same page. Garrett Wilson is by far the best wide receiver we have on this team, and to kind of see him playing ball the way he has the first few games. I think it's got to be mental. The kid is too talented. He's a back-to-back 1,000-yard recipient with 7 different quarterbacks throwing him the ball. Bums, mind you, bums. Offensive Rookie of the Year with bums thrown at him. I think he's thinking too much. He's not playing football. He's thinking too much because he makes these kind of mistakes never. And then now they're happening consistently, and I think he's just trying to find a way to elevate his game, man, to what Aaron Rodgers expects. And he's thinking too much because he's not playing He's not playing freely right now, man. I know somebody told me the problem might also be that now that he's facing off against actual double teams and whatnot, and not Brees, who used to have to worry about stacked boxes, you got to respect the passing game now. Maybe that's why he's struggling. Maybe he's not a true wide receiver one. And I just don't believe that. I don't believe, having watched this kid play for the last couple of years, that he's not a wide receiver one type of talent. I do think he's in his head right now, but it's all good. Help is coming. Help is on the way.
I was just gonna say that. I don't know if you were gonna
we're gonna mention that. We got to mention that.
But yeah, help is definitely on the way, man. I'm hoping that Garrett can kind of be in that slot receiver role and kind of be, because I think right away he can play on he could be the X, Y, and the Z on the field. But man, in that Y spot there in the slot, I feel like this dude would be he would do
Insane.
so many big things, man.
Oh
Which
man,
is
could you
more of like his
imagine
natural spot. Yeah, for
Devontae
sure.
Adams, Devontae
Hell
Adams,
yeah.
Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, or Lazard, Brees Hall, or Braylon? Now that's a lot for any kind of team to have to deal with. And man, I know we're talking about the offense now, but hey, listen. The offense, look, it was rough. It was bad, and there's going to be some more bad. We're going to go ahead and go over, but help is on the way. it's it's just a matter of time now before help is here.
Yeah, 100%, man. I can't wait. So this next play, Gunny, is kind of what I was talking about earlier in terms of, Brees Hall struggling. And man, it seemed like this guy can just, I don't know what it is, man. Like this guy, he averaged like 0.4 yards a carry on 10 carries on Sunday. And he just, for some reason, is just not able to get it done. Like, and second of all, the goal line on each side of the field, we should not be running Brees Hall up the middle. Like this is Braylon
No,
Allen's bread and butter.
100%.
What the hell is the point of bringing Braylon Allen here? Him having a great summer, and clearly each and every game he's showcasing his talents of what his game is, and this is the perfect game to feature him. And you're not going to give him too many carries. You're not going to feature him, especially on the goal line here. We're at like our own 1 yard line, and we had like so many penalties, which is another big thing that we had this past Sunday. I think we had like 15 penalties, almost 100 yards or so, and just Brees Hall is just not able to get it done, man. And I know the blocking isn't the best, but it seems like Braylon Allen, no matter who is trying to tackle him, he does not go down on the first contact.
Yeah, I think he's the second running back after only Derrick Henry that has broken more tackles in regards to getting positive yards in the NFL thus far in the first 4 weeks. In fact, he was the most efficient running back in the NFL going into this game, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and I think a ridiculous 4.1 after contact. So the kid's a monster, man. He's a monster. And I think every single Jets fan in the stadium, every Jets fan watching this game at home was screaming, Braylon freaking Allen, what are we doing? And it just, for some reason, it never registered to Nathaniel Hackett that, wait, we got a 240-pound, 6'2" running back, 20 years old, legs as freaking thick as tree trunks. We could probably get him out there and create some. Never thought about it. It just never registered in his freaking brain that was probably going to be a good idea. We knew, fans knew, we're watching at home. We knew, in the stadium, they were probably screaming it, but Nathaniel Hackett, it never came to his mind, man. But going back to Brees though, I don't know what's going on with him. Brees Hall is starting to worry me a little bit because this was the game where I thought, you know what, he's going to go ahead and get his legs underneath him, come out. He owns the Broncos, you know what I'm saying? In a game and a half before this, he's had 245 yards, averaging 9.2 yards a carry, and I think 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, playing against the Broncos. So that's in a game and a half, folks. A game and a half, because he tore his ACL in the second quarter of the first game that he played against them. I thought this was going to be his coming out party. I thought this game he was going to go ahead. You know what? I own these dudes. Let me go ahead and pretty much get these stats where they need to be. And he blessed us with 4 yards on 10 carries. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm not panicked yet because, again, we've seen this dude for the last 2 years. We know what he's capable of. But in all actuality, while he's trying to figure it out, you got Braylon Allen. You got a kid right now who's come out the gates on all cylinders. And I think he's a legitimate running back 1 on 20 other teams in the NFL, if not more. Stop trying to go ahead and get Brees Hall his stats. Stop trying to go ahead and force feed him consecutive games with touchdowns bullshit and play to win the game. Because in this game, I saw a coaching staff playing to go ahead and appease a player, vice try to win the game. That's what I got from this coaching staff from this past game.
100%, man. And to go off that even further, Gunny, in the NFL, you got to go with the hot hand, right? And Brees Hall is in a slump right now. We all know that. And he's going to have some really good games this year. I'm confident that he'll have some really good games. But if he's in a slump right now, the worst thing you could do is just force feed him the ball and feature him, especially if is not even able to get 3 yards of carry in this game. So, we have, like you said, Braylon Allen there. if it were up to me, I would have Braylon Allen be the feature back until further notice. Kind of like had the splits be more like a 60-40 on Braylon's side versus like a 70-30 on Breeze's side, which is where he's at right now approximately. So, but yeah, man, well, it's interesting to see what we're going to do there going forward, especially with the whole Adams thing in the mix here. But we'll see what happens. But on this next play, Gunny, this is kind of like what summed up for me, just watching this play, kind of summed up for me what it was watching this team offensively on Sunday. So you're going to see Aaron Rodgers here pretty much just like running for his life. And no one is really getting open. Looking over tape throughout the previous 3 weeks, it seemed like even when Rodgers was holding onto the ball a little bit long, or he was like scrambling in the pocket a little bit, it seemed like they were guys that were open, but really guys were just not being able to get open. And again, the weather could have been, of course, a factor in that. But dude, it's like Rodgers was just like running for his life a lot of times during this game. And the offensive line has been a strength thus far in the passing game. But again, we had a pretty rough day as an offensive line here on Sunday.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were talking about the weather and whatnot, but in all actuality, I think what concerned me most is that, yeah, you can say weather all you want to, but the offense should know where they're going in terms of to get to their spots, right? They should know where they're cutting at to get open and create space. The defense should be the one struggling to go ahead and keep up because they have to see what you do and then react. You just got to know where you got to get to and react. So I was a little concerned about that. Again, I'm starting to feel like these guys are thinking more than they need to when it comes to playing. That I don't know if it's a fear factor or what's going on with them, but I did notice that there wasn't a lot of separation being created. And I'm sorry, man. Other than Patrick Surtain, I don't. There's these other guys on the Broncos are just a bunch of guys, man. Just Jags, a bunch of Jags. Just another guy, all over the defense. They're playing well together. They've obviously bought in. You got to respect and appreciate what they've been able to accomplish the first 4 weeks of the season. But they've got one first rounder on that defense, and that's Patrick Surtain. They got one All-Pro, one Pro Bowler on that defense. It's Patrick Surtain. But these guys played like, I mean, they were the Bears of old, like the Ravens of old. And again, I don't know if we made it easy for them, or maybe the Broncos figured out a formula where these guys are just gelled perfectly to complement one another. Either way, I don't like it.
Yeah, and what really pissed me off, Gunny, about this play here is it kind of reminded me of like the Adam Gase, the Adam Gase special here. And what I mean by that is you have 3 receivers on this side of the field, 0 on this side of the field. So clearly, the defense is going to be able to shut down or try to shut down this side of the field. And the worst thing about it is that all 3 of these receivers pretty much did the exact same route, only it was in a few gaps. So you had Garrett there run a slant. Then you had the guy in the middle, which I think is Gibson, running a post. And then the same exact thing up on the top of the screen there. I want to say that's Lazard. Lazard is up there also running a post route. So it's like, why are we have 3 guys in the same field pretty much doing the same exact thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those offensive plays by Hackett. It's like, what the hell are we doing? You know, we should have someone else on the other side of the field. And I think it was Ruckert on the bottom here, go out for a check down here, but it was already too late. Like Rodgers was running for his life. And he wasn't able to get Ruckert out here in the flat. But again, this is just coaching, man, for a lot of these plays. And this is one of those things that pissed me off as well.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I think when we brought in Aaron Rodgers, right, we've all kind of convinced ourselves that Aaron Rodgers can overcome bad coaching. I think we all convinced ourselves that we saw Peyton Manning do it, you know what I'm saying, for the Broncos with Adam Gase, was able to go ahead and take those guys to the Super Bowl in spite of Adam Gase. And now we sit here and we're in the same predicament and we're hoping that Rodgers can be that dude, man. And I think he can. I think
Yeah.
talent-wise, Aaron Rodgers is definitively leaps and bounds of where Peyton Manning was on the back end of his career. I think talent-wise, he's leaps and bounds of where Tom Brady was at the back end of his career in terms of physical ability, right? The ability to throw the ball. I hope it's not getting too much because, again, this is a very young roster, right? A bunch of young offensive weapons. You got some young pieces on that offensive line. I hope that it's not becoming too much for him to have to go ahead and be OC and quarterback, uh, or
Right.
or maybe we're really looking at this and we're just not giving credit to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
It could also be that the Broncos defense was as good as they looked against the Jets on Sunday. I think that we just got that narrative in our heads where they were a bum ass team last year. Like, there's no way. But they've been doing this all season thus far. The defense hasn't been the problem. The offense has been pretty bad, but their defense hasn't been the problem. They could just have one of those top units, and they caught us off guard. That's also very possible. Still hate it. Still hate it. I do believe Aaron Rodgers is going to have to play more QB and OC to overcome some of the coaching concerns on the offensive side of the ball. But, man, this offensive game against the Broncos was just ugly. Just ugly.
Yeah, 100%. And this next play, Gunny, kind of highlights that as well. So I want you to take a look at the bottom of your screen here with Garrett Wilson. And Rodgers, again, is running for his life, and it looks like he's trying to scramble. But Garrett Wilson does get open here. He probably wouldn't have had a huge gain here, but maybe he would have been able to get that first down. But it seems like watch Rodgers here, and I'll try to pause it when right here. If Rodgers dumps this ball off to Garrett, you have this defender here that probably will tackle him. Garrett is pretty shifty. The weather being a factor could have decimated that ability, but it seems like Rodgers didn't want to throw the ball to Garrett for some reason here, for whatever reason. Maybe it was because of the fumble from earlier or whatnot. But again, Garrett was wide open here, at least initially, and he just did not. And Garrett is actually starting to get even more open as the play goes on. He definitely, actually here, he probably definitely would have gotten the first down.
100%.
But for some reason, man, he didn't dump the ball off.
Well, again, if you're Rodgers, right, you saw the kid, fumble a ball that cost us field position a couple of plays earlier. Maybe he's thinking I'll just do it myself. Maybe he's thinking, let me go ahead and try to get this myself. I think he's feeling himself a little bit more now, but at the end of the day, he's still 40 years old. He's not a spring chicken like he used to be, man. But again, if it's trust that's the problem, worry not. A solution's en route. And hopefully freaking Garrett Wilson can just kind of ease naturally into a 1B role.
100%. And so these next two plays, Gunny, are going to be the last plays that we're going to be talking about for the film. And we actually talked about it on the previous show, if you remember, that these types of situations on the goal line should not really be featuring Breece Hall running up the middle. And that's exactly what we did on these two plays here. It should be Braylon Allen there. You have a 6'1", a 6'1.5" running back, 245 pound running back there. That should be your go-to guy running it up the middle, man. And it seems like this is something that should have been fixed from the previous week that Breece Hall barely got in the end zone against the Patriots. And like you said about the Broncos defense, this is a pretty good defense here. So they're not going to allow Breece Hall to just manhandle them and be able to run it up the middle here and get that touchdown.
So it's funny, right? Because you brought this up, and can I share? I'm going to share this real quick. At this point, I think it just makes sense. Now, this is why I think it's crazy that you and I. Boom. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Screen share. Come on, baby. All right. So this is it.
Real quick, Gunny. There was a comment from Freedom House, and he said that you can't audible out of Brees, and that's a great point. Like there are some people who are saying that Aaron Rodgers should have checked out of the play, but it's like he can check out of the play, but again, Hackett is the one who dictates who is on the field on a given play,
Facts.
not
Facts.
Rodgers. So it should have been Allen out there. If Rodgers saw something he didn't like, of course he could have checked out of the play, but with Allen being there, man, it was a given. It was a given.
No, I think it's funny because like you brought that play up, right? And it's crazy to me that literally everything we discussed last week on this episode of Run the Tape came to fruition, right? And I'm about to play something for you guys. This was from last week's episode of Run the Tape with me and Mike, where we talked about this 5 days prior to. Can I zoom in?
Is there maybe what is it called? Command plus?
I'm gonna Command plus.
Or try minus. Command shift minus. Sorry. Command shift minus.
Command shift minus. Nah,
Are you on a Mac?
I'm on a Mac, yeah. Command shift minus?
Or just command minus. There you go. For some reason it's not making the video bigger. Okay.
All right. Well, I think you'll be able to hear it is what I really wanted people to hear.
All right, no worries.
So let's see. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Man, see if you can't hear it, then it doesn't make any sense. Share screen presentations. All right. Well, in a nutshell, we talk about this last week where we literally stated like you can't get to the goal line and not utilize Braylon Allen. The reason being is although Brees Hall winds up scoring on this drive after the second attempt, you never know if you're going to have a chance to do it twice. Like it's just there's no guarantee, and you're going to see on Sunday when you got the tape. Pull that up real quick for Sunday. You're going to see that Brees Hall gets multiple opportunities and just doesn't get into the end zone. If you want to go ahead and watch it, it's on last week's. It's like a little snippet. Me and Mike we clipped it, so to speak, and we put it on the channel. It's like 1 minute and 33 seconds long, but it literally says Run the Tape with Gunny and Mike. This was 5 days ago, and we did this like the day after the game. But it's just one of those things where it's beyond frustrating because we knew we were like, this you can't do that. You can't risk it because you never know when opportunities like this will disappear in terms of scoring on the goal line. And sure enough, run the tape that you got for that play.
Oh, sorry, that last play. Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah, you good.
Let's see.
All right.
All right, can you see it?
Yep, I see it.
Okay.
And then the very situation we spoke about last week came to fruition Sunday, where Mike breaks down the tape and he talks about how like freaking Brees Hall dances a little bit too much, behind the line of scrimmage. He's trying to be more patient, waiting for the hole to open up. But when you get to the goal line, man, those holes close really fast. Like there's no time for you to think. You need to just attack. And he does it. He does it literally two times or three times, and it winds up costing us a touchdown. We got set up for a field goal. Whereas Braylon Allen gets back there and he's more of a one cut and gone guy. Like he takes the one cut and he's gone. Once he makes a decision, he's gone, and he's carrying people into the end zone with him. It was so obvious last week. And then unfortunately we were proven right further this Sunday when they stuck with Brees and he hesitates a little bit, just enough for those little snippet of holes to close, and then he couldn't get into the end zone. But Braylon Allen, I don't care what you're telling me, man. Braylon Allen scores if he gets the ball twice on the 1 yard line in this situation on Sunday.
100%. And even if he doesn't do it twice, out of 4 times, I trust my chances with Braylon Allen. Like if we just did run, yep. run with Braylon Allen up the middle, like I would have been fine with that. And again, this is the difference between Brees and Allen. And I know we're talking about Brees a lot, but this is not to say that Brees is a bad running back. Like
No,
he's one of the best running backs in the NFL.
in football. Yeah.
It just comes with the play style and the scheme here, for what he for his game for his style of gameplay. So I want you to take a look at Brees here, and Brees Hall gets the ball, and instead of attacking this hole, which I know there's a defender there, instead of attacking this hole here, he runs toward the left, and it's like he's running toward the left. He's not bouncing out, and maybe he could have gotten more yardage or maybe scored. But again, he bounces out toward that left gap there where there's two defenders that are going to be making that tackle. Whereas Braylon Allen, once he touches that ball, I guarantee you Braylon Allen would have attacked that gap right here and pretty much would have faced this guy and said, hey, I'm going to, it's me versus you, and I'm going
to win. Yep.
Right. So
100%.
Yeah, man. So I'm hoping going forward, we don't have to worry about that. I'm hoping that, we'll be able to learn from our mistakes here. At least the coaching staff learns from their mistakes and is able to lean on their guy there in the goal line.
Yeah, and you can't convince me that the New York Jets or the coaching staff didn't just decide that they wanted to go ahead and make sure that streak of touchdowns for Brees Hall was maintained. I really believe that was a focal point for some reason, because nothing else makes sense. You've already seen that in the running game, Braylon Allen the entire game was clearly the hot hand. There wasn't any ifs or buts. Dude never lost yardage. He was tackled twice behind the line of scrimmage and still got you positive yards. So you're not going to convince me that Brees needed some touch. No, you wanted for him to continue his little streak of 6 games that he scored, make it 7. Mm-hmm. And I think they were looking at making it a personal accolades type thing for Brees Hall. Look again. I think Brees Hall is an incredible running back. I still think he's a weapon. I think that he's easily a top. That I still believe he's in that conversation as between him and Christian McCaffrey. Right? He started off slow. It happens. There's nothing saying he can't go ahead and pick it back up. But in that game, he didn't have it. It wasn't his day. Braylon Allen was already proving to you he was going to move that rock up and down the field. There was no reason to throw the game away in the pursuit of making sure Brees got his accolades. And that's what we saw on Sunday. You can't convince me otherwise. That's what it was, because Braylon Allen clearly was the better option in that situation to get the Jets on the board.
Yeah, 100% Gunny. And to kind of wrap up the tape here, this was – I hate games like this, man, especially when it comes up to doing the tape. But it's just one of those things you got to do to be able to kind of address the efficiency or deficiencies and be able to kind of pinpoint of what the problem is. And like you said earlier, it seemed like the majority of this problem was coaching. Like we got out coached 100% in this game. Yeah. And if we had coaches that were more proactive rather than reactive, which is a common theme for these guys, it's like we got to do better. Like we have the talent on this team. And even when we did our preseason show, I told you that, this is probably one of the most talented rosters that the Jets have had in my lifetime. And I'm 30 years old, but that doesn't mean that we're the best team. No. Versus, prior teams throughout those 30 years. But man, this coaching staff is at this moment, at that moment in that game, held us back, man. But like you were saying, help is going to be on the way, hopefully here. And I really do hope that the coaching staff can kind of get it together and we can have some more games where we're having a lot of fun putting this tape together and talking about how Rodgers and how all of our guys are just picking apart opposing defenses and how our defense is just dominating the opposing offense.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right? Again, when we were doing this, we decided to do this obviously after the Patriots game. We were feeling really good. We were like, hell yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and make it a segment. We'll just go ahead and jump on there 45 minutes to an hour maximum. We're going to go ahead and run the tape and break it down. We were hoping that this was going to be a happy session. We're going to be seeing happy tape breakdowns, high-flying freaking plays opening up, 100-yard rushes from freaking running backs, 50-yard bombs from Aaron Rodgers. We were hoping for that. That was I think, the initial expectation after seeing what happened against the Patriots. But, of course, that wasn't what happened here on Sunday. And I'm not going to lie to you, man, Mike's right. If we're going to do this, we're going to go ahead and do it right. And we're going to be here every Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and break down the tape, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, see whether the Jet teams could have did better, where they did worse. And we're going to go ahead and chop it up and talk about it. But, yeah, man, this was I guess you can say technically episode 2 of Run the Tape, right? Because episode 1 was last week. Just it was the hang or hang out then, and then we created, of course, this segment here. But yeah, man. Hey, Mike, tell the people where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, so right on Twitter or X, whatever you want to, however you want to call it, Mike the Stat Guy. You can go ahead. I occasionally post some things there, specifically some stats and some things that I noticed throughout the week for the Jets. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today, Gunny. I know this is again like not the sexiest film, not the best film, but I do think that going forward there are going to be some games where we're going to be having a lot of fun going over the tape.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Listen, Mike's Twitter account is in the description. I'm telling you guys, man, I've been saying this for a while now. If you're looking for somebody to give you stats to support any arguments or debates you have against, you know what I'm saying, the Fish fans, the Bills fans, the Patriots, Mike comes with some incredible freaking data for me. I use it all the time when I'm going into war against these other fan bases. Do yourself a favor, man. Follow Mike the Stat Guy. He's going to hit you up with some facts you can go ahead and hit these guys with when they're going to bring you their emotions and their feelings. Mike comes with the facts, man, and they help out a lot in these debates and these arguments. But that's episode 2 of Run the Tape. This was awesome. We'll be back again next week. The Jets face off against the Vikings this week. We've got concerns. We've got concerns. Mm-hmm. The Denver Broncos, I believe, is the number 1 blitzing defense in the NFL. The Vikings are right behind them at number 2. They're also currently the number 1 defense in the NFL. So we got some work ahead of us, man. Jets are 2-2. The Dolphins are in shambles. Patriots are in shambles. Bills right now currently run the division at 3-1. We get a win against this team. I think it's a statement win. I think it kind of sets the tone a little bit. This will be the best competition we faced this year because, again, the 49ers were still trying to figure out who they are this year. They seem to be a shell of themselves, or are they not? But the Vikings right now are clearly like, you know what I'm saying, like I think they're literally in the conversation for the number 1 team right now in football, right? They're undefeated. You got Sam Darnold playing like a freaking Pro Bowler, MVP type candidate. The defense is the number 1 defense in football. They're playing lights out. Aaron Jones, listen, the team is good. So this is going to be a good test for this roster, man. I got my prediction video dropping on Friday in regards to my feelings about how this game is going to go. But yeah, this was episode 2. Run the Tape with Gunny and Mike. We'll see you guys next week.